Hi everyone, Spicy Sushi here. So this is going to be episode 2 in a short series that I'll be doing to end the league off. I'm going to be going over, I'm going to be testing and going over various money-making methods in the game that people may be wanting to, people may be thinking about trying. Maybe you're wanting to try out a build, or you're just you don't have the money to do certain things that you want to do in the game still, but you're not done with the league yet. And these are going to be my overviews, my testing of various methods. Now, for episode 2, we decided to test Guardian's Aid farming. Now, if you're not familiar with Guardian's Aid farming, I did do this last league. It is a very popular method of making currency because it's a very simple way of making currency if you have a build that can kill bosses or run through a map quickly, as well as do decent boss damage and do the formed invitation. Now, you do not have to have an expensive build to do this. These methods that I did were using very highly optimized, very high-end builds, but that is not required. You could easily do Guardian's Aid with a number of builds. I think Tide Killer towards the beginning of the league did an Ice Crash Hollow Palm build. There's mana stacking Archmage builds that are very quick and able to do these. This is a very accessible method because you can do these maps on normal rarity and it won't matter. Now, I do want to go over that for these methods, this series, I use highly optimized setups to show a very high-end profit per hour for the method, to give you an accurate representation of, if you optimize this, what you could see per hour. But it is still, I will go over my thoughts on builds that are not as optimized. Now, it is important to note that there is a lot of information that I want to go over towards the end of the video, so I really recommend that you stick to the end and you listen to what I say about the data, because it is very important and there's some important lessons to be learned from this data. Now, the thing is about Guardian's Aid, if you've never done it before, it is required for it to improve your profit per hour. It is required that you have the Guardian's Aid passive in the Uncharted Realms. If you do not know what the Uncharted Realms are, I recommend Googling and looking up a guide, but it is pretty important that you understand that you need at least 4 passive points in the Uncharted Realms to take Guardian's Aid. That requires 2 Maven's Invitations, and I do recommend looking that up. There are plenty of guides out there to go over that, but this method does make use of 4 passive points at least. It recommended 6 to take all of the small nodes that make it so the Guardians have increased chance to drop influenced items, because those do add to the profit, as we will see in the data. But you do want to take that, and you want to be doing the formed invitation. So what we do is we do 1 of each Shaper Guardian, Hydra, Chimera, Minotaur, and Phoenix, and then we do the Guardian's Invitation. Now Maven has to witness all 4 of those Guardians, and then you can do the formed invitation. So I did 80 sets of that. So that was about 320 Shaper Guardians total and 80 formed invitations. So the investment is pretty high, because if you want to buy these, it is a little bit annoying because you do need to go through TFT. Most likely, I do not recommend buying these in single amounts, but you should definitely go to TFT and find the seller. You can post a buy order out there in the want to buy channel, and someone will usually message you by the next day, and you can set that up. It took me about a day to get all of these maps set up because I posted my buy orders in TFT, woke up the next day, found some buyers, and that's how I did it. Now, the 2 builds I used for this method was the Ore Stacker that I've been working on all league. The POB will be in Discord if you want to check it out. It is pretty expensive, but it's still budget for an Ore Stacker. But I do absolutely love the playstyle, even though it is not where I'd like it to be yet. Like in this video, I'm not able to just completely AFK in the formed if I don't play correctly. I didn't refresh my Spite buff, so I didn't do any damage. So it's not like some godlike build yet. But the other build was the VLS Pathfinder that Baron has been letting me borrow for the past few days to try out, and it is exceptional. It is such an insane build, and I'm hoping it doesn't get completely gutted next league, but who knows. But anyway, I'm gonna after we go over a little bit, I'm gonna let you guys see the formed invitation with this VLS Pathfinder, and then we're gonna get into the data. It's really important, guys, that you if you want to think about this method, you really need to stay for that data, because I do go over some very important information. A lot of stuff I'm just not going to sell. The data is only going to keep track of things that I believe have a high chance of selling. There is just an absolute truckload of junk you get from this method at this point in the league. Early league, there is quite a lot of cool things you can get because watch tones are valuable, almost any, because people are trying to fill out their atlas. But at this point, they are absolute just garbage. I would not recommend selling any of them for 5 chaos each. So yeah, so we're going to go over the loot tab. We're going to go over everything that I chose to keep track of for profit. And then, yeah, we're going to go over my ending thoughts. And the next video will be the Feared. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope I see you in the next episode. Alright, hey guys, and let's go ahead and get into the loot from this project, 80 shaper sets including formed. The loot honestly looks really good when you see it. So we got 39 Maven's Writs, 4 Splinters, and then 128 shaper sets. This is going to take a while to sell, but yeah. So quite a lot of fragment sets. Now, as I said, we are missing quite a few because every 1 in 3 Shaper Guardians or so would not spawn an ally. So there was potentially quite a bit of profit in fragments that was lost, as well as possible formed drops. So that was a significant limiting factor in our profit per hour. Maybe not as significant as I might think, but because I guess 1 in every 3, it would only be a 50% chance anyway, but there could have been some forms that we missed, but yeah. So we got 128 shaper sets, 39 writs, and then here is basically the more valuable loot. I have priced all of these already, but they do not go for a lot. The only really great ones is the steel ring, or 2 exalts, the marble amulets like 80 chaos. All of the watchstones are not really impressive anymore. They are decent, but they're nothing like Ritual League, where they actually were going for quite a bit. We got a lot of inscribed ultimatums from this, quite a few. None of these are in any way really impressive. Boon of the first ones, yeah, I mean, none of it's really impressive. We could vendor those later, but we oversustained on these maps, and we did not oversustain. We got a lot of Elder Guardian maps. No Cortexes, but we got 97 unmaking. And yeah, so this is the overall loot, including the fragments. So let's go ahead and get into the data. So our investment was 80 Shaper Guardian sets, and our cost was 40 Exalts. Now, this is gonna be a very important lesson when I go over the statistics for our profit. This is gonna be a very big lesson in why you should always check the price of the most valuable thing that you're gonna be getting at the time that you're doing this farm. But anyway, we oversustained on formed, but I adjust that at the end, but I just calculated the cost of 80 formed. So that's about 56.8 exalts total investment. Now, we got 128 shaper sets for about 42 exalts, 39 Maven's Writs, 0.8 exalts each. This is going to be very important that we pay attention to this line right here. But these are just the fragments, synth maps, unmaking, watchstones, shaper bases. I just calculated them all at about 3.8 exalts total once I sell them all. So 92.4 exalt revenue. Now, our revenue minus our investment, that was 35.6 exalts profit. Adjusted profit after our formed over sustain, adding it back in, was 37.09. And if we want to go over profit per hour, I had a lot of issues with my internet, so this is not real profit per hour, but I can tell you we were doing a set on average under 4 minutes to 5 minutes on average. So for 80 sets, it was about 400 minutes for about 6.6 hours for a total profit of only 5.5 exalts profit per hour. This is severely disappointing, but not unexpected. I did not go into this expecting to outperform Ritual League. Now, what do I mean by outperform Ritual League? If you saw my Guardians A video from last league, Maven's Writs were 2 exalts. Do you want to see what happens if this was Ritual League? 2x. We just got 139 exalts revenue. Well, if you want to see what we had before, 92. If this was Ritual League, 139. These watchstones would also be worth more as well. So if it was 139.7, that would have been 82.9 exalts profit, 84 adjusted, 12.65 exalts per hour profit. This is what I would have wanted to get with the kind of builds that we were using. We were using very high-end expensive builds to maximize the efficiency of this farm. Well, the VLS, the ore stacker was not as efficient as a lot of builds could be, but the VLS build was about as efficient as you could get. Now, only 12.6 exalts profit per hour. This is why it's extremely important, and I hope you take this lesson into next league. You got to keep track of how much the most expensive item is from this farm. What you want to see is the Maven's Writ. And because it's only 0.8 exalts, we only got a little over 5 exalts per hour. So what I recommend this farm, not only if you enjoy it and you feel like running the shaper sets, because you could get over 5.5 you could get over 5.5 exalts per hour doing shaper. So technically, you could do that. Maybe it'd be better to do Elder Guardians now. Originally, I preferred Shaper Guardians because of the speed of the maps, but maybe Elder Guardians with how you could do Elder after and sell Watcher's Eyes, maybe that is better. I am not going to do another test on Guardians, but yeah, this is a very important lesson, and I hope you take this into next league because it's so important that you look at things like this. Maven's Writs are dirt cheap. That is why probably the Maven was such a massive profit for me per hour, is because of how dirt cheap these Writs are. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, did I expect this? I did expect something around this. I did not expect it to be this low though, but it was a very bad sign when I saw Maven's Writs at 0.8 exalts. So yeah, that is unfortunate, but it's why I do tests like this. It's why I want to do projects like this, to get the data out there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Next episode is going to be the Feared 30 Feared. I expect to lose hundreds of exalts. But anyway, I do just want to get the data on that and share it with you guys. So I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.